I went from level 1 all the way to level 18 in the first day of wipe. And no, I did not use this new cheesy method of just smashing out arena to grind money and XP as quickly as possible. This was all just playing normal escape from Tarkov, and this I think is the fastest I've ever achieved 18 in only a day. I will start off by saying technically it wasn't actually the first day of wipe. I was on holiday in Turkey all the way up until the Friday when I came back. I was over there enjoying a lovely family holiday and also proposing to my lovely girlfriend, now becoming engaged. But anyway, enough about me. What I end up doing is coming back and then starting up the 12-hour stream that I did on Saturday yesterday, doing the Twitch Drops event, and I literally only played for these 12 hours. And to be honest, I wasn't even planning on trying to level up as quickly as possible. I was just following the same kind of normal rules that I would do on any wipe by trying to get through some of the quests as quickly as possible to get my traders to the next level. And by the way, I did achieve level 2 traders on all of my traders apart from mechanic, what you do require level 20 to be. But not only that, but I also managed to get myself a keychain, an injector's case, medical case, and also a thick weapons case in the very first day. Oh, holy thick weapons case, day 1, baby. But enough of what I did, let's go through exactly how I managed to do it so some of you guys can follow the same rules and take advantage of some of these new methods that I discovered to level up even faster. Now, starting off with the very beginning, I just wanted to get through the beginning quests that start you out on ground zero. You have to do these first before you can unlock any of the other quests and any of the other maps, regardless of what you do. So I just smashed through these as quickly as possible by finding all of the machine gun and grenade launcher mounts, killing scavs on locations, handing over medical items, and also finding the med camp, then also locating the doctor's area, getting the key, and then getting the hard drive. This was as problematic as it always is because people love to just camp it. They will just run straight from the extract, sit inside the lobby room, and just watch the door. So when you walk through, you just get absolutely beamed. Now, I will say with this quest, there's 2 ways of possibly getting through this as quickly as possible. You can either get the very closest spawn and just run there as fast as you can, or what you can do is just spawn in on the other side of the map and then just slow play your way through and then just hope that most of the people who have gone there have already killed the people who wanted to go there, got the item, and then moved on and extracted already. I ended up doing it the first way. I got a close spawn, ran straight in there, grabbed it, and what you can actually do instead of going back down into the lobby where you can find the choke point, you can actually jump through the window and do some parkour onto the metal scaffolding areas there, then getting down. Now, if you do have the luck of having the car extract still being up, you can take that and get that quest done at the same time. After completing pretty much all of the ground zero quests, I then move on to some of the other maps like Woods. Getting the magazine quest out of the way is a pretty good one as well for you deliver it on customs. That allows you to unlock the Kisser body armor, what unlocks level 3 protection, what is very handy on, especially in the early part of the wipe when people are really using rubbish ammunition. But then after moving through that, we get onto the meat and potatoes of what actually led me to leveling up so goddamn quickly. And that leads us on to one of the brand new quests that's been added in for this current event that's going on with Battlestate, introducing the kind of progressive system of moving map to map. Instead of just going straight back to the extract, you move from one map to the next location using the marathon mode. Now, this is only going to be temporary. I'm not sure for how long. Could be for a couple of weeks, could be for a couple of months, but you need to take advantages while you can because these quests give a juicy amount of experience points. So just to give reference, the first couple of quests that you do for the very beginning part of the game, when you complete them, they give you roughly about 1,000 to 1,500 experience points. The marathon quest gives 66,000 experience points. Now, it is a little bit of a difficult quest, especially in the early part of the game, because it requires you to survive not only 3 raids on the row without dying, but at the same time, you also have to go to labs as well and maneuver around that map and go to certain locations without dying. But you don't actually have to extract from laboratory. And not only that, but it also rewards you with an injector's case, a med case, and also some omniproscopes as well, what you'll need finding raid for quests later on down the line. Now, how I progress through these quests, and I managed to do it actually first attempt, is by playing it quite slow and quite ratty. Now, people might not like that, but this requires you to survive long periods of time without dying. So taking unnecessary fights will only get you killed and just set you back progress when you could be doing other quests that are easier, what will progress you even faster. So the way that I did this is I just took in plenty of food and water because obviously your stats effects follow into the next raid. So you need food and water throughout all 3 of the raids, as well as extra ammunition as well for you running into scavs, that kind of stuff too. And then plenty of medications to get along with that too. Now, the location for you to move, because with the marathon mode, you have to always start at ground zero and then you move from map to map from there. And the location you have to use is right next to where the flare extract is as you go down towards the bridge. Now, there's a car back there. It's very exposed and you have to wait about, I think it's 6 minutes when the raid starts before this extract actually opens. Now, there'll be other people in the raid who are also trying to take this too. You have to then stand in the open after delivering delivering your items to get sent back to your inventory at the same time, and it literally leaves you out there exposed for about 30 seconds. Now, I did end up running into other people who were doing this also, and one guy decided to jump on it the second it opened up. He decided to eat one of my lovely long fuse M67 grenades and got sent straight back to the loading screen.
Kobe!
Holy, what a grenade. That's why you wait it out a little bit, and then I decided to go down there, take the extract, send all my stuff back, but then I realized I didn't bring money with me, so I couldn't send any of my gear back. So when I looted up him, he had a lovely car battery that I was going to need later on for the quest too. So this put me super overweight once I took his gear, and I couldn't deliver it because you need to have money on you to be able to pay to transmit that items back to your stash in between the loading screens when you're going from map to map. This and this. Oh, it costs money? Oh no, I don't have the money on me. So, and the next try, you want to make sure that you've got some money on you as well. I'd say if you're going to go for a long haul, at least bring 100k with you, because I was roughly spending about 15,000 rubles. And on the next times when I tried this, sending money and sending equipment back to my stash again. After moving to the next map, it will take you to Streets. Now, Streets has two locations to go to two different maps. So you can either take the location to Labs, or you can take the location to Interchange. Now, obviously for this, I was going to Laboratory for this quest. That is located where the Check 13 mark room key is. If you go down the road as you're going to where the other PMC extracts are, there's a building on your right hand side, and then if you go round into the building, there is a little door that now opens up that you'll be able to go down to the extract. Now, I did think this could be quite easily camped, so I made sure that I jiggle peeked as I come around the corner to make sure nobody was there. Unfortunately, I got there too early, didn't realize this, the extraction hadn't opened yet, so I had to sit down there and essentially camp it myself by accident. And then somebody decided to come down and just waltz down the staircase, didn't even bother checking, and then mowed him down. Hence the reason why you need to double check this when you go down there, because it is very easily camped, and I'm pretty sure in normal raids, not just the marathon mode, this door also opens too, so there could be other people camping it who aren't even doing the marathon mode too. But then you will require the labs key card, so you have to hold it on you from the very beginning of the raid as well. You'll need that too to then access the laboratory. But then moving on to labs, at this point I've invested loads of time and also loads of equipment into going into this, so now I don't want to die. So I play a really ratty mode and just find a nice little corner for me to go sit into for about 15-20 minutes. Let most of the PMCs kill themselves off, or then get stuff and extract with that, and then kind of go to the areas that require you to go to. So you need to go to the tent area. You also need to go to the garage area where you press the button to unlock the door and spawn the raiders in. You need to go to the server room, and then you need to locate also the elevator that takes you out of labs and back to Streets again. And for any of you guys who don't know that, if you know where the tent area is, there's also a set of elevators that are next to the computer room areas where you can loot the safes. It's down there, you can hit that and then you can leave. But I wouldn't leave from there because it will take you back from Streets. Once you've completed this, you've done the quest, you can actually die now, but you can also just take a normal extract out of labs and then get out that way and complete the quest. And boom, I get out, I've completed the quest, I get all of the stuff. The 66,000 XP takes me from level 7 all the way to level 13 in one hit. After completing this massive new marathon mode quest, I then move on to doing some of the standard ones again, like doing stirrup and getting those lovely juicy PMC kills. I did try the deagle out, didn't manage to kill anybody who got die, went back to just the normal 9mm pistols, got the kills quite easily with that. And then moving on to some of the customs quests, I did actually die quite a few times trying to do the gold pocket watch quests and also the unknown key quest. But then I end up squadding up with some friends who were also playing too. The first time I squadded up to towards the end of the stream, and end up doing those quests with them. Then that leads us on to the next quest that gives me another massive piece of experience points. Now, when this quest actually released, it was only out for about 30 minutes when we come across it, and it was another marathon quest. This one awarding 100,000 experience points and also a thick weapons case. Now, who doesn't love a thick weapons case at the very beginning of wipe? I know I do, and it's going to come very much useful with storing stuff in my stash. Now, but this quest is very difficult, and I will say that it did come down to quite a lot of pot luck that I managed to get it done first attempt. It took me around about, I think, 2.5-3 hours of total playtime to complete it. What this one requires you to do is to do the marathon mode, but from every single map without dying except labs. Because if you look at the main map, all of the maps lead into each other apart from labs, where it goes off into a different direction, then you go back to Streets again to then continue on to the next places. Now, I thought this would be easier if we try this with my two buddies, and that hopefully would make things easier by having more people. So if someone died, then it'll kind of alert us to enemies and we can kind of backtrack and then kind of move around it. But again, I will say it did kind of play into a lot of ratty gameplay, but we did have to carry on so much equipment on us and also so much food and water, because if we're having to survive 9 maps in a row, you're going to consume so much water and food. So we had to play things very, very slowly. And I must admit, I actually really like the marathon mode. I'm not going to lie. It kind of gives you that Escape from Tarkov kind of survival feel, because I feel like Escape from Tarkov has moved from like kind of a survival extract shooter into kind of like just a extraction PvP shooter. This kind of brings the survival aspect back into it again, because you have to really worry about the kind of like guns you're using, the different ranges you're going to run into as well. Also having food and water on you also too. And then one of the things that I didn't actually think about what I went into the raids and didn't find out until later on is the different day and night cycles, because you're starting off in one map and the daytime cycle keeps continuing as you go through it. When we first started off on the first map, it was early morning, and then on the last 3 maps it was completely pitch black darkness. And with the last couple of maps being Lighthouse, Reserve and Shoreline, without MVGs, because I was, like I said, it's very early on in the wipe, I wasn't past level 15 yet, I couldn't buy them and I couldn't actually get them from the flea market. I was blind pretty much through the majority of these raids. Now when we started off on ground zero, you extract the same ways as I mentioned before, through the flare extract area around there, and you'll go into streets. But this time, instead of going to the laboratory extraction area to the next map, you'll go to interchange, and this is located where the crash helicopter site is, off to the left there where the house spawn is. When you spawn inside the house, just to the left there, there's a bus with a little kind of barricade there. That's where you then locate the same area to go to the next map. This again requires you to wait the 30 seconds and the first initial 6 minutes for the actual extraction to open, and this actually plays out on every single map. You can't just go from one straight to the other. Fortunately for us, we got the spawn literally in the house, so we just kind of wandered out there and just kind of sat there and waited for the next extract to open for us to move to. Scavs actually pushed us down there. I didn't even know scavs even moved down there. Don't know if that's AI change, but they decided to keep seeing me through cars and just kind of pushing me from that. But we end up moving on to the next map, what was interchange. Interchange, again, the next area to go to the next map, what is customs, is right near where the, I think it's the W2S key, where the crates are, where you can go in there when the power's turned on. Behind there, you've obviously got the main road, and that leads to like where the broken bridge bit is. There's also a player spawn there too. You leave through that. Now we spawn on the opposite end of the map where the tent extract is, and we had to kind of slow play our way all the way over there. But we end up running into a lot of players who are actually doing the same thing. So as we were going down there, we saw players kind of roaming around the area. Some gunfighting was going on, and then my friend Joe, who was one of the 2 teammates that I went with, got one shot headshot by some guy using an M700 and a big boy scope from that, I think, that second team that was there. So me and my other buddy Eggs, we were kind of going backwards and forwards fighting this other guy who was left over there, and we didn't actually end up killing him. We slow played towards where the extract was, and the guy ended up extracting from that map, I'm pretty sure, from that area, because he couldn't have got around us, so he must have just left on his own or with his teammates. Those maps were quite easy actually when it comes to moving through the maps. Customs was very difficult for us because we got the complete opposite end spawn to where it is, because the old gas station is where you extract to the next map when you move to factory, but we were actually on the opposite end, on the other side of the bridge. End up killing a couple of players that were AFK on spawn near where we were, and then we just really slow played it around the edge of the map all the way around until we got to that area. Obviously, like I said, very, very dangerous map on customs, because there's choke points pretty much all over the map, and you're always guaranteed to pretty much run into players. Fortunately, we actually managed to avoid most of them while we get there to move to the next map when we got to factory. And again, factory, again, very, 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 very dangerous map, especially with the new layout. We don't know it perfectly, and the transit area actually is in one of the new areas behind where the free store area was before. You can now go outside there, and that's where you then extract. Again, there's a timer. We got the gate 3 extract. We had to kind of maneuver through and avoid players. Got in there, but one thing to actually note, and this is very, very important that you know this when you're doing this quest, that there's a PMC extract exactly where the transit extract is. So when the timer came up, I kind of creeped forward and did the transit extract, and my friend Eggs, who was with us, he then took the main extract out, therefore cancelling out his entire run and then kicking him out of it, meaning I had to do the rest of the run completely on my own. But you'll know which one, because the transit extract, when it comes up below giving you the timer, it comes up in an orange color. If you're obviously taking a main extract, it comes up in a green, so make sure you look out for that when doing this quest. Woods was a pretty easy one. I got the spawn right near the med camp, and the transit area is actually where the UN roadblock is, right next to where that spawns, and it was actually then starting to become nighttime, so I just kind of, like I said, waited out time and then pushed around the corner, hoping no players were going to be coming there also doing it too. I moved and transitioned to the next map pretty easily. Therefore, this is where the challenge actually started to get really hard, because the pressure started to ramp up, because we'd invested so much time already, and with the food and water situation, because a lot of our teammates were holding food and water from one another, and I couldn't get it from their bodies when they died or extracted, I was starting to become a bit of a dire situation. And like I said, the pressure, obviously, with the time consumption that we'd put put into it was starting to get pretty high. I went into reserve. It was completely pitch black. I spawned near the K buildings, what was not too far away from where I needed to go. The actual extract for this one for the transit area is right where the train leaves the station. There's like a wooden board near the fence where kind of the mine area is. That wooden board there is the transit area. But obviously with this map, you've got raiders spawning at nighttime. The player spawns obviously crazily close to one another. And if players are playing this map this early on, especially at nighttime mode, majority of people would be wearing MVGs. I obviously had nothing. All I had was a suppressed AK with like literally no attachments on it. So I just kind of like slow played it in the K buildings, and then I kind of ran over to the train station area. After started getting shot, I think either by raiders or by a player, nearly died, got close to where the area was. There was constant fighting happening behind the train station area from the start of the raid till then. So I knew there were players back there. I don't know if they were doing the same thing or just where they started to spawn and fight there. Sod's Law, the place I want to go to is where all the fighting's happening. I, like I said, was really struggling to see at this point. Kind of got an idea that there were some players kind of going around the area. So I literally just crouch walked slowly over all the grass, getting around the edge. And like the craziest moment happened once I started the transit to leave. I was laying down on the grass. Two players fully kitted on the other side of the fence. I mean, within like touching distance, just sprint past me. And I'm just sitting there thinking, oh my God, please, for the love of God, don't see me. But it looks things they didn't have MVGs on. Don't know how and why they were doing on that map that geared with no MVGs and just how they could see. I don't know if they were doing the gamma trick to make it black and white so they could see, but they didn't see me. Oh my God. Can you see on my screen what's happening right now? Two players run on the other side of the fence, run straight past me. We end up moving from then onto Lighthouse. This is the one that I was most scared of, obviously because the player spawns are crazy. It also can be quite reluctant for cheaters too, because obviously people like to rogue farm as well. So I was very scared about this one. This one is where I couldn't see anything. This was the worst map by far. I had to go in the gamma settings, and not the gamma settings, sorry, the in-game settings and turn up brightness so I could see something. And I got the spawn right on the beach side near the scav house. I had to maneuver all the way to where the path to shoreline is. Right near there, there's a kind of a metal carriage. That's where you then transit from there. Somehow I managed to get over the road and get all the way to there without seeing a single scab or PMC. There was constant fighting here happening at the water treatment around me. Like I said again, incredibly lucky had to get through this. Then moving on to shoreline, where at the beginning it only says that you have to go to shoreline because there's no like map for it to go to after that. That is the last one. But once you got onto the map, it then said you had to survive an extract. Again, this, like I said, there's a lot of luck involved in this. I got very lucky. I spawned actually in the new village area. Well, again, I was obviously very close to the always extract up what's the path to Lighthouse. So I had to wait for get down to 36 minutes in raid, obviously to be able to get a surviving raid instead of a run through, because it couldn't be a run through. I'd have failed the whole thing. And then as I was maneuvering there and getting towards the extract, I'm like 90% sure there was a cheater in the raid, because I was getting shot at in the pitch black by an unsuppressed pistol from very far away as I was going to the extract, only 30 seconds after it passed time. It's that unsuppressed pistol again. Wait, he's not shooting at me, is he? Whoa, 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 whoa. Get me out, get me out. He's shooting at me. He's shooting at me. He actually is shooting at me. Where's bullets winning past there? But then I completed it, got out, completed the quest, another 100,000 experience points. That got me to level 17. And then I just did a couple of like easy quests afterwards that kind of pushed me over the mark and pushed me to 18. And there we go. That is how I got to level 18 in the very, very first day. There were a couple of other marathon quests, I must admit, what do give you some good XP as well. I think it's like 15,000, 25,000 is what I'd say. Not as good as both of these ones. I would recommend investing some time and trying it, because you got to think the 100,000 XP I got from that quest from finishing it will equate to about 100 of those beginning quests. If you say about 1,000 XP or 1,500 per one, 100,000 XP is about 100 of those, and I managed to get that done in about 3.5 hours of just kind of putting in the time. Obviously my teammates didn't make it, but I did. I got through the whole thing, got it done. Very, very, very lucky, and it shot me up in rank very quickly. Like, so I overtook my teammates in level, and they've been playing every day since the beginning of wipe. So I managed to get there in just 12 hours of just pushing hard through it. Like I said, definitely recommend giving it a try. Make sure you do this. And at the same time, if you enjoy this content, you might like my live streams as well over on twitch.tv, link in the bio below. And if you enjoyed this video, I also have another video when I hit some of the best early keys in Tarkov to make serious amounts of money. Check it out here.